Vidphone show. We are now live. We are live across Facebook and YouTube as well. Just waiting for my co-host, Mr. Vijetha Shastry, to join in. We have a very interesting topic today. We're talking about basically virtual and video customer touchpoints. And I think in this day and age, it's a very important topic. And we want to learn from all of you who are watching as well. Feel free to raise hand and come in. Akhil has also shared the Facebook Live and YouTube Live soon. He will be sharing that. You can share it across your social networks and encourage people to join in. So this is a very interesting topic because, of course, we're waiting for Vijetha to join in. So just give us a few minutes before we officially kick off this episode. But I think what we're trying to, achieve here is share some best practices regarding video-driven events, video-first events. Today, as we know, most of the events are happening online, various platforms, and of course, the question is now, how do we have certain standard practices, best practices to be able to conduct and benefit from these events, networking and otherwise. So would also be curious to know if anyone's live and joining us. Manjeesh, very good to see you. Drop in a comment as well. And very good morning to Vijetha Shastry, who's joined us.
Good morning, Jagat. Yeah, so nice that we are Saturday morning rather than a Saturday evening League of Extraordinary Startups. But I think, what we were discussing, and I'll tell you the reason why, for all the startups and founders are watching us. Jagat and me, of course, we do talk a lot about the ecosystem. And Jagat has been part of, if I may, Jagat, the Thai Global Summit. He pitched over there. Plus, he took up a virtual booth recently with the IoT Matrix at the Thai Bangalore Summit. And we were just saying that, so many founders, they should use these. There is no choice. You have to use remote sales. You have to use your digital branding. And I thought rather than me giving my gyan, let me call a founder to talk about his experiences. And who better than Jagat? So Jagat, let's set the context and let's roll. Let's go for it.
Yeah, I think it was really wonderful. I mean, yes, we were at the TGS 2020, which was a wonderful event. We did what's called the open mic there. It was quite a unique concept and very nice to be part of that. And after that, of course, we also the IoT Matrix. IoT Matrix also, I think, we had a stall there. So, thanks to, the wonderful folks at Thai as well. And I think it was great to interact with some people and, network with others regarding, and I think some very interesting topics, right? Connectivity that's connected, you have ambient, and you have some very important core kind of philosophies of IoT going forward. So it was great to be there, of course. So, setting the context, of course, we've had this whole 2020 that's come, which is everyone would probably like to forget 2020. In fact, I was watching a daily show with Trevor Noah, and that's when he gets Michael, I think his name is Michael Korda, and these guys are saying, I wish 2020 never happened. So how do you do that? It's just believe it never happened. Right? 5 of us agree it never happened, it never happened. So, but of course, we can't do that. But what it's taught us is we are living in a video-first world, right? It's no more about real-life in-person meetings. And one is, of course, to be in denial and say, okay, this is a short-term thing. It may go away, 2021 somehow magically. Or the other thing is to embrace this as not only a kind of supplementary channel, but very soon probably the primary channel for all businesses, right? Every business has to be a video-first business in the future. I think sometime back there was this talk about how every business has to become a software business. But today we can become even more specific and say they all become video businesses. So the events, I think Vijetha has a lot of insights also to share because he was part of the organizing committees in a very big way. So I'd love to learn from him, and probably he can set that in terms of the organizer's point of view, and I can probably come in with the founder's aspect and as a viewer and having the stall. So if that's cool, Vijetha, if you can just tell us what your pluses, minuses. How did you feel? Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. So I'm going to use a lot of examples from what you also did, Jagat. Okay, so number one, Jagat prepared. Okay, as a founder, you know you're getting an opportunity. Time is very short, and you have to make an impact. So one thing, Jagat, which will of course show us later on a slide share, screen share, is that he prepared some brochures. Okay, very neat, very vivid, which captures the essential items. Remember, this is a very competitive world. For example, at TGS there were hundreds of stalls. At IoT Matrix, we had sponsor partner stalls. We had the booths from the government. We had booths from STPI. We had NASCOM Center of Excellence. Of course, TIE was there. IoT Forum was there. There was so much of there's so much to do in the 1.5 days or 2 days that you're there. So how do you keep the attention of the person who comes in, and when they come in virtually, how do you interact with them? So let me start with that. So obviously, you have to check that what are the dimensions of the logo. You must make sure that you know the what is this, when you can upload a video as well. A video is MP4 format, but they'll give you the what is the duration, what is the size of the video. All that must be kept in mind. Video first, as Jagat is talking about. The third thing is, what can you do in terms of the a brochure, a handout. So what are the things that matter? Number one, you want that whoever comes in should have the ability to interact with you, say hi to you, and also drop your business card and take your business card. Also, you should have the ability for you to download the brochure. So, Jagat, you have two brochures and the overview that you prepared. We should show that later. And now, what I'll very quickly do is I've got Vipul online. Vipul, I've given you the raise hand option. You just need to click on it. Yeah, just a moment, because I know that you have got some things. So, very quickly, let me get Vipul here. Hey, Vipul. Good
How are
morning.
you?
Yes, yes, yes. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning,
I,
morning,
I
morning.
see that your beard is growing bigger and bigger by the day, huh, buddy?
It's getting bigger by the day. So I thought that I'll at least have the grudge look out a little bit.
Oh, wow. Good,
Very,
good.
very interestingly, when you were talking about marketing, I was like, at least this will have a distinct appeal when we're talking to people.
So the fourth element was that, wasn't it, Jagat, about the personal branding? How do you,
Personal
as a
brand.
founder, make sure that you use these virtual tools, video tools, to keep a memory hook for the people that you're interacting with? So, Vipul, you have been part of NASCOM Center of Excellence. Right now, you're a founder. So, if you
Exactly.
had to advise, say me if as a founder, and say Jagat as a founder, and also
Mhm.
maybe me as an organizer, okay, how would you, in the virtual networking world, how would you prepare yourself?
So how would I prepare? Sir?
How would you prepare yourself? I mean, you're getting an opportunity digitally to attend some events. There are booths, there are speakers, there are virtual networking sessions. Okay, and sessions also are happening. Okay, please, we should not forget that. Sometimes we forget about that. There are some very insightful, knowledge-driven sessions where you can ask pertinent questions, and you can actually make a good memory hook over there as well by showing your thought leadership without being salesy. I mean, I want to stress on this. You don't be too salesy. So keeping that in mind, what would you do as a founder? Say you're an Armon founder. It does what it does. How would you go about this? And supposing you were advising Jagat, okay, that as a co-founder, how would he go about this? So I just want some very crisp. I know you have the time shortage. Give us some bullet points, Jagat, Vipul, please.
So, Vijetha, so to be very honest, I think that's a very valid, point of discussion that we're doing right now, because with being digital, there's so many more people who are present, and it's becoming very different from what we used to do in the form of an in-person activity, right? There is way more data coming your way. There are multiple people, who are working on interesting stuff, trying to talk to you, and you're trying to talk to them, and you're trying to figure out, what works for you, and simultaneously, founders like me and Jagat are trying to figure out, what works for us. And in so much of noise, you have very limited time, to catch somebody's attention. So what I've been doing in terms of experimentation is very simple. We have a couple of videos that we have made. Now we have made that after getting feedback from different people. We got, like, our product basically sells in the restaurants, it sells in hospitals, it has a lifestyle appeal to it, it sells in multiple different segments. Now the point is, I can't talk about all of them. So what we've done is we have taken inputs from different people who are basically, thought leaders in these particular industries, and try to figure out, what are the 2 to 3 USPs that really strike, the fantasy of somebody, or get somebody's attention. So what we're doing with our videos is very simple. We are just igniting, somebody's imagination with it. We're like, hey, this is an interesting product. This is what we can do. Done. We do not cross more than 30 seconds on a video We limit it to 30 seconds.
All right.
We said this is the product, and we leave it to the customer. We got great feedback because of that. Because once they start interacting and they start ideating, people come back and say, hey, you know what? I can even use it in the gyms. You know what? I can do it here as well. You have an interesting product. And this has worked for us successfully because we've been able to, in one of these seminars, we were able to get contacts from a company called SCT, which is a Switzerland based company, which is in the hand hygiene space. They reached out to us. BPL reached out to us. Another company called ConMed, which is in the healthcare space, reached out to us. We're also talking to a company from today in the morning. They reached out to us called Cisco. That is SYSCO. Right. So the only major thing that we had done in that video was say, this is our product. This is one or two of the activities that we can do. Let's talk. So that is something that ignites, and that is something that actually works for us and has worked for us. Now the problem would be that, let's say, if you have a product that has multiple USPs, or because it's your baby, you want to showcase all the opportunities you can, but you need to remember that you have very limited time, and you need to make sure that you leave an impact so that somebody remembers you, so that they can reach out to you again, and then go into the detail of it.
Understood. So, Vipul, I'm going to now turn the tables around. Okay.
So,
Let's imagine that Jagat is here and you are there, but you are not a startup founder. You're, say, someone from TIE or you're from NASCOM. Okay. You're a community person. Okay. There are two role plays I want. Very crisp, 20-second role plays. Number one,
Done, sir.
ecosystem enabler, say TIE or NASCOM. And the second thing is, let's imagine if you're an enterprise who might be interested in, say, video sales or video CRMs or whatever that Vidphone can offer. So can we play this role play? I'm going to keep quiet. You all decide how you all want to do this immediately. Jagat, you start the conversation with Vipul.
done.
So Vipul
And
just
you're all live. You guys are live, huh? So make it serious. Okay,
yeah,
please.
absolutely. Vipul just entered our call and Vipul got a great product. So he's like, okay, watch this, right? So I'm just
Yeah.
like, hi Vipul, I know you're a founder, you have a really great product, and there is an alternative channel for you to be able to reach out to new customers and demo your product. What do you currently use for your video-driven sales? Is what I would ask. It's my first opening question to you.
Yeah, so most of the time we're actually using, like Google Hangouts, or we're using, the video on WhatsApp, because if you want to do it a little faster, we do that. But I think most of the people are comfortable with using Zoom. So about 70% of my meetings are on Zoom right now.
Right. So the main thing about Zoom is that you only have those conversations with people you already know, right? So Zoom always has to be scheduled. So what I'm talking about is when we have a process where you drive traffic onto your website through our webinar model where you talk about your product. And the moment people enter your website, unknown people are able to click and talk to you and also schedule. Right. So what we're talking, it's equivalent to saying that I'm calling people only in my friend network or people I know, than I'm talking to the whole world outside, right? So that's like a difference. Would you want to sign up for a free demo? I mean, we'd run you through and show you results in the first 15 days. How would you like that?
So that sounds great. But, yeah, that sounds great. But just one question.
Yeah.
Does Zoom offer something similar, or is it unique to your product?
No, I think one is, of course, that when you look at normal consumers cannot be taken to a place where you download an application. It has to be seamless, like a phone call. The second is also that they need to be on Zoom to be able to use it. Here we are looking at touch points, right? Customer touch points. Now, when a guy is on your website, how does a guy book a Zoom call with you? He can't. You have to use Calendly and then use something like Zoom to fix it. So what we are allowing is a one-click to call you, right? So it's touch point one. Second is when you look at an email that you send, a traditional email, even there, you typically have a Zoom link. But then again, there is no potential for him to schedule a time, right? Typically, and then you go back and forth saying, is this time okay? So we give you a link where they can schedule it along with your own availability as well, right? It's the calendar builder. So we've got these things kind of put together, Vipul, and we of course worked with some players, in your space as well. So we'd love to actually show you how this works, right, in about 30 days. So within 30 days, you will see this alternative channel, which is driving you leads, and you're able to get demos, and then you can actually look at moving to the paid plan. Right? So this is my pitch to businesses.
Interesting. So just one more question. So
Yeah.
my other concern is that when I'm reaching out to people, when I'm connecting with them, I either have to share my email ID or my phone number. Not very comfortable in terms of sharing my phone number, till I reach a certain stage in terms of that discussion, and that's been a problem because even on WhatsApp I need to share the phone number, and if the sale doesn't go the way we want, or
Correct.
we get a lot of calls in terms of continuous this thing. So Is it the same thing? Do I have to share any of my details before getting on Vidphone, or
No, so the best thing is
any?
when you sign up, people, obviously we take your email and phone number, so our customers are in touch with our updates. But for a customer-facing scenario, you only have something like vidphone.me/vidphone or vidphone.me/armon, right? That becomes your handle, much like your website address or your email address, right? It's anonymized at some level. It does not connect to your phone number, and you can choose to install it on a particular device, or if you have a sales team or a support team, they can also use it, right? It's not connected to your phone number as such. So that's also something that we allow that. We allow you to have custom brands, like you can see Vidphone is vidphone.me/vidphone. And so you would have vidphone.me/armon. And so it can be plugged in. So
Interesting. Yeah, yeah, I would like to explore that. Yeah.
yeah. So that's a quick role play there on how it could work. But yeah, really very valid questions. And Vijetha, over to you, back to you. Yeah. I think you're on mute.
You're on mute. Sir.
So with
I think it's still unmuted for some reason. Let's check.
okay, now I'm here. Okay, sorry. So Vipul talked about competition or whatever else you want to say. He talked about Zoom or Google Meet, but you countered it in saying the convenience. You don't have to. I think that's the thing, right? User experience, convenience is what you have to. And what's the niche? What is it that I think that what you're trying to do here is address a gap that is not being addressed as of now, may not be even possible for someone to address it immediately. So you're taking that tactic and you're running through with it. I love that. That's beautiful.
And one more thing, since we were on that, one more thing is that, of course, I see that what we are talking about there is an external communications use case, right? Typically, where you're talking to customers, not to teams or partners or people I know of. And even when you get an inbound lead, that is, talking to him is not the challenge. Talking to unknown people is the challenge. That's where you're going to get actual business many times, new business. And another thing is, of course, to do with remote communications, right? So we're doing video communications, a lot of video meetings happening. And of course, there's a lot of talk of what we can call fatigue around this, because people end up having long conversations, but nothing gets done. I'm sure we're not, the only guys who are seeing this, and we've heard a lot of businesses talk about this as well. So we've launched Vmail now, which is what we call asynchronous video messaging. It's something like basically a talking head video of you, recorded video, and then you send it to you or to your team, and they can respond in their own time. So it's got the best of video, where it's got that personal element of my face out there, and also the benefit of email, where I don't need to be real time all the time on it, right? Because that's what happens. And it's not only about video communications fatigue, right? Just think if phone didn't have SMS. If I had to always be on the phone 24/7, it would be an equal problem. Of course, in video, it's visually engaging as well. But you had SMS there, which is like messaging, asynchronous messaging. So we have now Vmail. And I believe that actually Vmail or async video messaging is going to be bigger than video meetings, this conversation. Because there, our mission is we want to give power to those who are silent. In a conference, it's always the loudest people who are talking. And always the people who, but what about the people who actually have views, who need time to assimilate and then react? This is going to be really big for those people. And I think that's the future of leadership also. Leadership typically has been about who's talking the most or who's shouting the most. And video conferencing, unfortunately, with the speaker mode enabled with all the platforms, it clearly gives only attention to those who are shouting the most. And we want to change that. We want to give voice to those who are more silent, who react, take a little more time to react, but they may be a lot more valuable and valid. So Vmail is another interesting thing, that even teams who are using these other video communications companies, they should try Vmail, because this will unlock productivity, and we call it better, fewer meetings.
Interesting.
Makes sense.
Vipul, are you on a time crunch right now? I know you said you had one more meeting, Vipul. Are you okay, or you're stuck for some? You're okay with this few more minutes?
Yes, sir. I have another 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. Done. So I'll keep that in mind. Okay, 11:20 to 11:25.
But that's a very interesting feature, because makes a lot of sense. And I'll tell you how that helps me with things is that I'm talking to a lot of manufacturers. There's a lot of nitty-gritty that we're getting into. So most of the time, I'm taking photos. I'm calling them on WhatsApp. But the problem is there's no record of the same. So I feel that I can actually use that, as a benchmark, saying, okay, here's an email with a quick video, and we can continue the conversation with that. So I'm really excited to test out that particular feature.
Yeah, it's live. We can actually check it out. It's all on the site. You can do it through your phone, and we also have what we like. It's like suppose I want to get back. Let's say I got a feedback on a particular design or something like this. I don't need to be on video, and they don't need to do it. They can record it, send it out, and then you can look at it, record back, send it out, and they get a thread, of video message. And so
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really powerful. Of course, we've had to differentiate. Our only thing has been a dog run since March, since all the big guys came in and put free products. So we've had to build out a lot of innovative features. But I think this is going to be very interesting. I'm really bullish on this and happy to pilot with Vidphone as well.
No, definitely. It sounds very interesting because the other problem is that I'm shifting through, different things altogether. I mean, I have a call on Zoom, I have a call on Hangouts right after that, and this is most of the time with the same people because you're getting other people in, you're getting their feedback. So I'm shifting from, WhatsApp calls to, Google Hangouts to Zoom and all of that. So this makes a lot of sense because then I don't need to go back to those platforms, look at those recordings and then, cut, copy, paste and send those across. This makes a lot of sense, and yeah, I think should improve efficiency quite a bit. So yeah, I'm going to try this feature out definitely.
And so, Vipul, I want to now get into this. Right? So, yours is a physical product. You are trying to, get your manufacturing done. You're trying to do so many things, correct? Now, if you had to set up a virtual booth, like how Jagat did at different places, if you had to pitch virtually to a large audience, but you can't see the audience, and the audience can't even ask you questions, okay? What do you think? And this is open to both you and Jagat, right? What are the 3 or 4 elements that you have to capture, to make an impact visually? And of course, audio, you have to combine audio and visual together. So how would you guys do it?
So what I have done recently is that for me there are 4 parameters that are really important. When doing something like that. So the first one, like I mentioned, is create an impact, leave an impact, something that they can remember you by. Now that is the personal branding is included in that, the product branding is included in that, and the opportunity that they can work with is very very important. So you quickly introduce a product, leave some of it to the imagination, but talk about 2 to 3 USPs that enables them to understand that particular product. The second thing is that yes, you want to make sure that these people get back to you. So very very important that you share your email IDs, phone numbers. You make it easier for them to connect with you because that's how you're looking at people coming in. The third more important thing is that since you can't face a lot of these people, it's always important to showcase some of the testimonials. Because you can say, hey, we've been featured here, we've been showcased here. These are the people who endorse us, because that also leaves a lot of room for people to explore opportunities in. So that is another one. And FAQs again is an important fact. So but this takes a little time because you need to be in the market, or the product has to be there, so you can start collecting FAQs. I would focus about five FAQs that quickly says, okay, these are the most common asked questions, and here are the 5 answers for it. So that's the format that I would basically work on and prescribe.
Interesting, very interesting. And Jagat, what would you do? I mean, I know you already done it. You were at TGS and you were also with us. How would you, how would you prepare yourself for your, the interaction that you were having virtually for the open mic?
Yeah, great question. Because see, Akhil and I had a quick discussion because obviously this is not only the first, but we'll be doing probably a series of these, right? Both from Thai and other organizations. We'll be finding a lot of these, scenarios again. So we thought about how do we best replicate at some level the physical experience? What would we do and what do we do now, right? So typically, your collateral or your messaging has to be simple, and that remains the same. Like it might be your standee that's in a store or your banner, and you replace that with, of course, you have a Vidphone logo there, which of course now we've had a new. If you look at everything that's happening on Vidphone, it's all red. We've changed the whole thing, right? We were like light blue because we just wanted to play this really chill. But past 6 months, we've had to switch gears, so this reflects a bit in our mood as well. So we're now red, going after everybody, and so that had to be there. Apart from that red, which kind of gets, and we saw it comparatively with other stalls who are also very good, partners. Ours, of course, was red, so we stood out, and it's always there. Right? Red is kind of loud, and you want to, because it's a group of different brands, and we are not your big brand. Right? So how do we stand out? People are seeking out big brands when they see a lot of logos, and so when you are not a big brand, you have to do something to stand out. And so that's why we took red, and our new is like formula on red, really bright and out there. Even on our website, you can check it out. So one was, of course, that I think the simple color, it reflects the energy and a lot of stuff, right? I think that's one. Second is, of course, having those basic collateral in place. We have one or two kind of content stuff, right? Presentation. Of course, video is very important. And we are, because of Vmail and a few other things, we didn't actually have time to produce out those videos because we just launched Vmail a couple of days back and we're like in intense testing right now. But definitely a video, as Vipul said, is I think number one in a video economy. You need to have, and it's also very easily done through Vmail. Vmail is also a place where you can just make that video and screen share it, and you can actually get that. So, uh, but the most important thing I feel is where uh, there has to be a kind of a curtain of, like you said, warm people who actually want to know, or somebody who's just passing by, right? So that's a gauge you get at an event, at a stall, where you cannot include 3 days with people 24/7. And it's harder on a screen. At least in a location, you can move around and stuff like that, right? So I think
Yeah.
having that pre-qualification, some method of pre-qualification may be very useful. That's, of course, when you get a lot of visitors, and I'm assuming the organizers also get a lot of traffic, and they're able to do that at scale, like in a very deep way. But that may be the differentiator later on, right? How will I be able to pre-qualify? Because then I'm really talking to the people who matter. Because in a one-to-one format, there may be 5 people in my kiosk concurrently. There is no way I can actually cater to them unless I have a group room. So
Yeah.
the moment you have more than one people concurrently, that will become a challenge. Who do I spend my one-on-one time with, and how much? Right? These may become things in the future, but
Yeah.
I think it's all.
So this is the thing also, right? Vipul and Jagat, if you guys have a nice brochure to hand out, that is also something that you can do also, isn't it? You have a nice virtual brochure, they can download it, you can hand it out. So there's a video, there's a brochure. In case you are stuck because of XYZ, then you can do this. So there are so many things that we can do. So many things. All right.
Actually, just to add one final point to that, Jagat, you're absolutely right. What I look at videos, and when you're trying to interact with people now using videos in those formats, it reminds me of the days when we were setting up campaigns on Facebook and Instagram and all of that stuff, because there was so much of traffic, there was so much of information, so much of data that the users were consuming. The one thing that we looked at doing at every given point of time was making our ads as creative as possible, right? I mean, the simple thing was that as soon as they look at the video, they should spend some time to figure out what is it. So I think that's the point I would like to add. Make your videos as creatively possible. Catch somebody's attention, because as of now, that's a whole business. It's the economy of attention. If you're not able to catch that, yeah, I mean, you lose out on a lot of benefits that way. So yeah, being creative with the videos is, I think, very very important now.
In fact, one of the things I said, and we're looking at the change, right? It's not only about video conferencing alone. Obviously, there's been a lot of noise around us, and the question I get asked all the time is how it is from Zoom. It's not about that. The thing is that now what's happened is the consumers are on video, and that's the big change.
Yeah.
If you look at previously, email, phone, all of these business tools, right? Business communication. First, the consumers will go there and it will become a consumer thing. And then businesses will come. Similarly with SEO, right? Consumers started searching on Google. And then the businesses come and do SEO and put themselves there. Similarly with social. Consumers went to Facebook, Twitter, and then businesses, this became the next big thing. So similarly with video. And last year, the good thing is that that's happened. The consumer is on video. So now businesses have to get on video. And that's why I believe that the existing meetings concept alone is not enough. It's not about meetings alone, right? There's a kind of customer journey, and there is a team's productivity side of it. Because look, this is not only a question of which platform, but HR people in teams. That is, companies, people who are in charge of, let's say, the welfare of the employees, need to look at what's happening very seriously. People have burnt out in the last 8 months more than any time in the past. And I think if that continues, you have very drained out workforces looking at this time 2021. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not only about whether we do it or not, but any new option should be looked at.
Yeah, makes sense, Jagat. Makes sense. And we also have. Hey, I want to just say a quick shout out. Sumit is here. Divya is here. Chetak is here. Vipul, I know you need to leave, buddy. It's 11:30. I know I should say bye to you now because you have other calls. But thank you.
No, thank you so much, Vidha. Thank you so much, Jagat. Very interesting topic. I mean, it's the evolution that we're looking at. So,
Yeah,
thank you guys.
Thank you, and Vipul, we'll talk later in the afternoon as well. All right. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
I'm scheduling an appointment with you.
Bye, Nicole.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Hey, Jagat, I got one more person. Sumit, I hope your connection is good because we. Yes.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Vijetha and Jagat. How you all?
Good, good, good. So, Sumit, thank you for joining us. The conversation here is if you had to take up a virtual booth somewhere, if you had to prepare yourself
Okay.
for some kind of, a virtual open mic, like how Jagat has been doing, or you had to take part in, say, Thai
Mm-hmm.
Global Summit, or you had to take part in any of the, big events that we do virtually, how would
Mm-hmm.
you prepare yourself? And this is something that I want you and Jagat to talk to each other. Because Jagat has done this really well, by the way. He did it very successfully, and that's what the conversation is all about.
First of all, hi
Great.
Sumit.
So, yeah, hi Jagat. Happy to meet you again. Certainly, like in my case, what I would do that I would suppose the event is in different countries, say, or maybe in different towns, say Bangalore. So I would reach out to the local groups, Facebook groups, local communities, and pass on that this event. I would invite them and inform that this we are putting a booth over there, an online booth as such. So how about coming, drop by, interact with us? That's what I would have opted for, or I may opt in near future.
Interesting. And what would be, supposing you have to prepare a brochure or a video? I think Jagat, you have some tips on that for, so say, for Sumit and the team here. How long? 30 seconds? What is the formats that you use? How would you do that?
Right. So, what I would tell, what I've learned is, look, it's quite difficult always to capture attention, right? That's like the big point today. No matter what business you're in, end of the day, you need to have that call out very, very quickly, like we were discussing with Vipul, that 5, 10 seconds, how are people actually going to spend the next 30, 50 seconds with you? So you break up that attention of the customer into different parts. First is to get their attention, and then the second is to keep their attention, and then is to probably look at next steps, right? After the event, what do you want to do? So good way is to break it up that way. And the first step I'd always say is, like, you have to somehow be loud. We are not a company that's too loud generally, but generally now we have, because of our marketing outreach and our push, we look at how can we kind of capture the attention most creatively. And these are two or three things, right? One is your high level content, the 3 or 4 words. For example, RTI was the 3 or 4 words that sum up the essence of RTI. And this is most important, right? Just text content. And then all this, the face business today with video, I call it hashtag face business. It's all about your face. Video is all about
Yeah.
face, right? That's the beauty of it. And the second is, of course, that Sumit is the kind of, what do you say, the visionary behind this whole RTI movement, RTI wala movement. So people, more than they connect with a brand or a logo, they connect with Sumit, right? That's like critical.
Yeah.
These two, I think, are really important in getting the attention. The founder's face or the team's main face. Because today, if I look at Thai Bangalore, it is, for example, Vijetha Shastry, right? And there are multiple other peoples, but to us, and some people who interact a lot, we don't think of Thai Bangalore. We think of Vijetha Shastry. Similarly, if you think of
Correct.
Vidphone, you don't think of Vidphone, you think of Jagat. And that's at least the closed initial circle until you become a big brand. So these two, I think, are really
Correct.
important points. Yeah. You want to know your 3 or 4 words, RTI, what would you kind of, if you had a banner to put out on that virtual stall, what would you put out and your message? Yeah.
Our message would be simple, loud, and clear. Like, if you have a legal trouble, get it fixed to us at affordable pricing and in time-bound manner. That's it.
Interesting. So you want to keep it very simple and crisp. But how would you convert this into, say, video? How would you convert this
Yeah.
into? That's my question to you also. Think about that, right? Because today we are talking about making it, into video, brochures, and you have to create it in a very.
Correct.
You're remote. You're sitting somewhere else, and you can't. There are 20 people. You don't even know them, Sumit. And there
Correct.
will be 200 people. Like when Jagat was doing his open mic at TGS, there were hundreds of people, hundreds and hundreds. When he was at virtual booth at IoT Metrics, hundred. He doesn't even know them. So how would you prepare
Correct.
yourself? What is a crisp 30 seconds on a video communication platform? Let's imagine. How would you do it?
Correct. So, Vishita, are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you, Sumit.
Okay, so yeah, we do created two videos. One is about the platform, how we started, why we started, and what the impact, and which it has two video testimonials in it. So it further interest this what you call our the faith in our brand as such, like how we impacting the life of people. So I have a very small link with me. I'm just sharing it with you in a moment. Okay.
Put it on the
And secondly,
chat. Yeah, put it
yeah,
on the chat. Yeah.
yeah. And also, I wanted to know one very interesting thing. Like, what's the biggest takeaway of this event? Like, are we going to have many what you call qualified or sales leads, or maybe we will be creating a bigger network of reach? Like, what's the major takeaways? Like, I hardly attended
Yeah.
to
So,
the event.
yeah, understood. So I'll give it to you. I mean, if Jagat, with your permission, of course, I will tell you how it works. See, number one is you remember this is all digital, so you have to have. I think he's slightly thinking. I'll just take him out, no problem. So I think I'll just share it out verbally. So number one, you make sure that the virtual booth you understand the logo dimensions. We just discussed it in the beginning. The logo dimensions are important. What is the length of the video that you can show, and what size of video you can upload? Because there will always be a constraint on size. Okay, remember that the organizer is paying for all this. Okay, so these are some of the things that you have to keep in mind. You have to create a nice brochure. Sumit, I think you're having some online problems, so let me try once again to get you online. And Jagat, what are the other things that you would advise Sumit on?
No, I think main thing the way, I mean, I think you missed out what you were saying, but I think you can catch it up, Sumit, on the recording. But my view is, look, what do I look to gain from an event? This is a very big question. Right? I never look to gain anything from an event, to be honest. I go there to meet good folks, just to have a good 2, 3 hours, 10 hours. Yes, there is always business on the mind, right? And as a business person, you're always looking at how do I get business. But really, honestly, I don't go into an event saying I don't pitch my product. Right? Vijetha also will know when we are at events, we are going just to meet new people. I mean, I'm generally I enjoy that, and the fact that business will come later is there. But when I network or I go to socialize, I don't go there with agenda, because the moment I do that, look, if for example I meet Sumit over there, and Sumit tells me, look, I'm running this RTI Wala consumer care, I would just walk away because I'm not interested. You may not be interested directly in my business. But that's not the way I think
Correct.
relationships work. It's just to understand and then to see if there's any potential way we can do it, or not, right? Everything need not have business as the agenda. And everything need not have business agenda today, right? It could happen 1 year from now. In fact, today I'm doing a deal with a very large car organization. And the discussion, what I'm telling them, it happened 1.5, 2 years back. It's exactly what I told them 2 years back. Today they want to actually do it. And it's come as an internal request from them. So I think life is long, and networking is just one of those. It's always good to go open-minded. This is I've been attending events for now 15 years. I'm sure Vijetha has had a lot of experience as well. But one thing you may have learned is, don't go there looking to pitch your product, get a sale. That's the worst idea. Don't go to an event.
Correct.
It won't work.
Yeah, that's
I
the
mean,
truth. Huh? Yeah, that's the truth. So, Sumit, yeah, it's a discipline. In fact, that's what discipline that you have to take. That is just for touching point with as many people as possible. Okay.
Correct.
In the future, when they are also there to network. They are also there to meet as many
Okay.
people as possible. And Chetak is putting these words right. Do not be a salesman at all the places. Very right, Chetak. I agree with you. He's also saying that be open. That be open to conversations. Be open to listen. And
Correct.
but at the same time, please make sure that you are collecting all the visiting cards, dropping the visiting cards, but don't try to become too much of an immersive salesperson out there. Very, very risky.
Correct.
And I think what Jagat is saying, solve, don't sell. Like, what do they want? What could they be possibly wanting that needs solutions? What are the gaps that are there that you can fulfill? How can you help them? Okay, so think about that, right? It could be they might be having some problem, you don't know about it. They may not want to share about it in an open
Correct.
forum. They may take 40 minutes to explain to you. Just imagine if they take 40 minutes to explain their problem to you, what are you going to do with the other 100 people that you are supposed to meet? So be careful. Be very, very careful in this thinking. I think, and when we read out what the Chetak also has written, listen to them and then come out with a solution for them, either through you or maybe your network or whatever. Build that goodwill. See, it's very, Sumit, you are doing very well for yourself right now. I know you have a massive platform and you're sitting in a small town in Madhya Pradesh and doing really well. But we're talking about the next level.
Correct.
So, guys, one of the conversations that came out, one of the interesting sessions we had yesterday, Jagat, was with Ravi Gururaj and Rajan Anandan, who's, they're the tribe presidents respectively from Bangalore and Delhi. And Rajan is from Sequoia. Ravi Gururaj is a serial investor, etc., etc. So this is the thing, right? We have a lot of SaaS companies, but that is just somewhere 5 or 10 of them. But there is a potential for at least another 10,000 companies to touch $100,000 or $1 million sales. How many people can you name me right now? I can't name it.
That's totally correct.
I also can't name it. So and the other thing Jagat that he said was, okay, everyone looks at USA, everything, but no, India is such a big market, right? And you are of course Sumit focused on India.
Yeah.
Outside of India, you have SARC, you have GCC, you have Singapore, you have ASEAN, you have MENA region and all. Can't we tap all this? And Prasanna, who had come from Sri Lanka,
Correct.
right? So think about that, right? You're doing very well, Sumit. But when you're doing this virtual world, which you don't do much right now, collect the database, say hi to hundreds of people virtually, and then make sure that they remember you enough because of the visual medium or the video medium, so that when you talk to them later, it's a good conversation and they remember you. Oh yes, we remember you, Sumit. You are the guy who's helping out people to solve the legal problems. Okay, think about that. All right. And
totally correct. Totally correct, Vijetha.
Yes, Sumit, would you like to say something to the audience about yourself very quickly? 15 seconds.
Yeah, there's just one anecdote. Like in last year, Gujarat, we got we had a physical boot camp over there, and luckily had an interaction with Amazon president, Mr. Rahul Sharma. So he not only took my card, he also offered his card, and later we got to know that he is going to assist us in onboarding our platform to different CWS, and it was massive boost to us.
That's beautiful. So it works, isn't it? Like this networking networking ones always help. Great. Thanks, Sumit. Thank you so much, and look after yourself also. All right.
Chalo. Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay,
bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
All right.
So we also have, I'm just waiting for Sonu Gupta is here. Sumit, we just spoke to. Chetak is also here. Guys, whoever wants to raise hand. So while you're doing that, Jagat, you had prepared a couple of slides. Can you quickly show it to the audience if you don't mind?
Sure. So I'll do this.
Do the screen share, I think. Yeah.
So this was actually what we did. This was for the event. Am I audible? All good?
Yeah, you're audible. Jagat, are you playing the video? It's a deck. It's a PDF, right?
Yeah, it's a PDF. I'm just running through because, the way we kind of did this, we didn't have enough time, I said, for this kind of a video. But what we did is put together very quickly a kind of story, right? And the first thing is this, right? Is about we now live in a remote economy, right? And we're talking about the shift that has happened. The shift that has, there is a shift happens. We're living in a different era. That is how things have changed. And I'll tell you about why I have this kind of a flow today in just a bit. We talk about how before 2010, business was all about email and phone. And then 2010 to 2020, you had social. And social was predominantly about images, right? If you look at our Instagram or a Pinterest or a Facebook, they were all about images. And 2020 onwards, we are telling is all about video, right? And then we talk about what do all the major tech companies have in common? Whether it's a Facebook, whether it's a Google, whether it's Microsoft, or whether it's even Reliance in India, all of them have a video business. And we ask this question to other businesses, what about all the others? What about you? And today, you as a business, you expect this remote experience. It's no more about, what's there today. It's about improved productivity. One is that, no Zoom fatigue and lesser and better meetings and collaboration. Second is you're looking at how do I increase my sales, my marketing, my customer support? How do I have personal, private, and public communications platforms with automated workflows? So let's say I do a webinar and I get an email. That customer's journey is automated. And I can have different workflows to see which works from different lead sources. And I can actually optimize how, what is the flow that they go through. This is really, really powerful. And how do I do all this for what? The main reason is, how do I attract, convert, and retain customers? This is the future of video. And the third, which is most important today, is how do I have maximized cybersecurity? How do I have, it's not about which encryption I use or, how many updates I'm fixing. It's really about your philosophies. And our philosophy is about secure by design. You should not ask about, is it secure? Because that's how we want business to be. No download, no snooping. And most importantly, we don't have a targeted ad-based business model where there is any risk for our customers, because we are not dealing with only customer to customer conversation or consumer to consumer. We are dealing with businesses and they have a responsibility to their customers, ensuring that when you use our platforms, your security is not going to be jeopardized. They cannot do that with the current platforms today, because if I get someone onto a third-party platform call and tomorrow that customer's information is jeopardized, I am responsible as a business. So this is the call out for us. We tell businesses three things: improve the internal productivity, because there is more meetings right now than there is productive work. With Vmail, you can change that. Second is have infinite number of customer touch points with phone. And the third is secure by design. Then we introduce the product. And then we talk about the high level features that make this happen, right? Vmail, which is async video messaging, video address, which is your permanent personal remote headquarters. It's almost like your remote office or your desk. The third is Vidphone rooms. These are for your group conversations with your teams. And Vidphone TV, this is your public webinar link, right? So we have made this into one, unifying experience for the customers and the teams. We talk about the timing, why this is very important today. One is, of course, that consumer video has exploded. Now businesses need more than one solution to be able to cater to this demand. And the second, which I feel very personal to my heart as well, we have to believe in sustainability. And what we have done in the past 8-9 months, by reducing travel, reducing emissions, reducing industrial waste, it would be a shame if we went back to this in 2021. So we have to maintain sustainability and scalability for companies and the world at large. 35,000 odd users, 500 business users, early revenue stage, and we cater to startups, SMBs, and large organizations. We have products that scale across this thing, and multiple sectors and geographies. So we're very excited about this. We look at businesses, education, and healthcare as very attractive sectors, and of course the team. So Akhil and myself, we're incubated at NASSCOM 10,000 Startups. We've raised our first round of funding, but I think all of that is not as important as what we want to do, right? How we want to actually contribute to the future of building video first businesses. So that was a very quick kind of presentation, Vijetha, and thanks for the opportunity. Yeah.
Okay, no problem, man. This was very interesting, Jagat. Jagat, did you also prepare like the open mic, right? When you had your open mic, and how much time did you have for the open mic? I mean, when you were interacting with the people, and who are the people? Who are the people? Talk about that also, please.
I think wonderful guys. I think Akash Gupta. There was somebody from the electric vehicle space. Another person, his name was Arcot, who's running a kind of digital delivery of IT services. Murli Karkala, I think his name is. Plus, I think Isha was there. I think Ekta. I think a lady called Ekta. She was in fact in charge of the host of the transitioning us onto the live stage, etc. So I think people from various walks, of business and work. But I think 3 minutes was the pitch, and the open mic. The brief that we had was that we couldn't share any presentation as such. It was just about us talking, it's in the spirit of the open mic, and I think it was a very interesting concept. So what I did was, just a bit of a hack for those who are watching today. You know my hack. How was I able to put it in such a simple flow? It's because I had this parallelly open, my presentation, and I was running through it. Okay. Of course, once we do this more often, it becomes a lot more natural. But typically, I'm used to having my presentation deck, so that it gives me structure, and it also gives the viewer some kind of context. But in this case, that was not possible. So I had to quickly change my strategy, and I knew that just about a minute before I went live, because I had the presentation prepared. So that's useful. It gives you a kind of anchor to keep your pitch and your overall kind of messaging to keep that going, right? So these were, I think, a couple of things. In the future there may be need for there is of course a virtual business visiting card exchange that most people are doing, but a big challenge that I see is handling concurrent people on a desk or in a stall, especially when you're building an exciting product. Many times you'll have a lot of crowd around your stall, and handling those scenarios. Vijetha, thanks for coming back. I was just sharing one of the challenges going forward in this would be, if you're an exciting stall, if you're an exciting company, you will have a lot of people at your desk, at your kiosk. And how do you do that? Hi Chetak, and great to have you. I'll leave it over to both of you.
No, and what you're saying, Jagat, is very sensible, right? When you have a lot of people in a stall, they don't have time to wait for you also, right? They want to move on. but they want to collect some information or they want to give you some information. So it's a very delicate balance that you have to work out. Hi, Chetak. Nice of you to join, sir.
Hi, Vijetha. Hi, Jagat. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. And Chetak, thank you for those inputs that you were sharing about solve the problem, how to virtually interact. So what would you do, Chetak? You are a cyber security person. Let's imagine that you had to set up something with with video CRMs or with video offerings, a virtual booth, a digital networking has to be done, personal branding has to be done. How would you go about it?
Well, the first and foremost thing is to understand, is to give them some food for thought.
Okay.
Feed them with something which will be in their mind for a long time. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Sorry. Feed them with some information so that they keep thinking on it, and then they will come back to you at a later date. Of course, nobody will get a business over there and that on those events. But then you got to feed them with some information at least, some critical information which is probably not available to everybody, or could be a number, specific number, something like that.
Okay.
That is how I would look at it.
Interesting. So this is a question that I want to also pose to Jagat and also to you, right? Jagat, you were talking about this before Chetak came online. Like, how do you give the respect? How do you give the time to all the multiple visitors who are coming? And you're alone. Let's imagine, Chetak, you're alone in a booth, but there are 5 people coming or 10 people coming, and there's a waiting list, right? There's a queue, etc., etc. And all the digital platforms are enabling all this. How would you go about this? How would you treat people?
Chetak.
Open to both, please.
The trickiest part, because you don't know who the person might be, who could be a potential one, potential business, or who is there just to spend time.
So what is the messaging that you can give to them? Supposing you have to leave a message for them while they're waiting, you have to leave a polite message, or you use the video tools, or you use a digital tool. What would you do?
In case if it's an in-person event, then yes, then you do have to prioritize and say, you got to be very, very polite with them and say, look, I can only spend a few minutes, but yes, definitely we can catch up later after the event, and we can do that.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, be open, be honest, and be open straight away. That since it's an event, I won't be able to spend too much time. However, yes, I'm okay to discuss anything and everything after this event and stuff. Most of them, I'm sure they also understand that this is an event, this is a networking thing, where people are walking, they want to understand everything, they want to see who and what the company does. So they do not mind in 99% of the cases.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And what would you do, Jagat?
No, very interesting, because as I was, we also look at, because we are coming up with a similar offering. We're going to actually come out, as I told you, coming year, we will definitely have an offering towards this large events, because I think people are doing a fantastic job now, but there are some big gaps, and I envision the experience, getting a lot more sophisticated and refined next year. It will be like having an open shamiana kind of experience versus having a Taj Vivanta show. I think that's the journey that video events going to see, and definitely we'll make it have some interesting features. One of the things is, I definitely, as I said, with Vmail, which is the asynchronous video, I would definitely have a talking head video of myself or Akhil or both of us, where it's like you're entering a booth, right? The first thing that you see is not the brochure, you see the people. And I think that has to come out, and that will happen. So the moment anybody who comes there is engaged in that 30-second intro video, hey guys, we are from Vidphone, and welcome, blah, blah. And if I could give them a virtual drink or a virtual, biscuit, something like that would be quite an interesting experience. And they could wait in a lounge probably with other like-minded people right there. There could be some thoughts around that. But yeah, your guess is as good as mine right now.
We're all learning, we're all trying to figure out, isn't it? Okay, that's interesting. And Chetak, so imagine that if you had to prepare a 30-second video, which can also be converted, Jagat is working on this video CRM, video mail, etc., kind of products. what kind of imaging or whatever? Because for example, if you saw just before Jagat shared his presentation, vivid colors, isn't it? Red, blue, standout, large fonts. So what are the things that you think, I mean, keeping this in mind, again, open to both you and Jagat, technology and video tools, how can we use it well? How can we use it smartly?
The beauty is that you can play with the colors. You can play with any colors, and the bigger the font, the louder the message. And there are certain colors, certain colors and certain fonts which will be in your mind forever. So use them appropriately.
Okay, interesting.
Even if you forget the name of the company that has used it, but then the message remains in the mind of the particular visitor.
Awesome. I like that message. The vivid colors, memory should be there of the logos or something.
See, everybody may not, or rather, I should say, most people have a pictorial memory. Once they look at it, they will definitely, most of them will remember it forever.
Okay.
At least, if not forever, at least for a long time.
Okay. So pictorial memory. I got to read up more on that. Interesting. So fantastic, man. Hey, Chetak, you have been very kind as always with your insights. And anything else that you'd like to share? Anything else that you want to talk about yourself? How are things going on with you at Cyberpack? What's the story?
Thank you very much. All these things I have learned with interaction at TIE and NASCOM. So it is like I'm just giving back to you people, or rather through you to others.
Yes, thank you for that, Chetak.
Thank you very much.
Very kind of you, and stay along and look after yourself also, buddy.
Definitely.
Cheers.
Thank you, Vijetha. All the best, Jagat.
Thanks, Chetak. Same to you. Be in touch.
Take care, man. Take care. Thank you. Bye. So we also have, let me see, there are some people who I'm trying to get, Vaibhav and Sonur also there. So you guys can raise hand and come and say hi. So one more thing, right, Jagat? So you prepared this PDF, you prepared with vivid colors, large fonts, very beautifully done by the way, and I wanted to share it on the chat as well. That's number one. Number two is, what else do you prepare? I mean, if you were to prepare a video, I know you have prepared lot of other material, and you're trying to always reach out to engage more and more people, help founders, etc. Right? So what are the other tools that you have from Vidphone coming up or ready, which can be utilized, I know, commercially or whichever way by founders and entrepreneurs and business heads? Would you like to talk about that, please?
Sure. Thanks for that. We get better a little bit. I've always said I think it's easier for me to build out a product than to build a presentation, and it's always tough for me because I'm not an MBA. I'm just an engineer, and I stopped at BTech and I'm done. Right? I just build products and that's what I do.
At least you're that, man. At least you're that. Don't worry.
No, I get better at my presentation skills, and trust me, you can hack presentation pretty well. Don't look to rip off stuff. There is an easy way to look at copy paste or rip off things. I never like doing that generally. But there are some tools. Obviously, I use Canva, I think, quite extensively. They are such an amazing company, and using these tools, and especially us being a SaaS company, it's very important for us to use SaaS tools, especially those that we find a lot of value, because we learn a lot from the way they run the business, right? And how do they kind of get more engagement? How do they get us to refer more people into the platform? So it serves me two purposes. One is also to replace, let's say, a keynote that I use on my Mac. I may use Canva with some of their presentation templates, but it also teaches me, when I do this, how do they follow up on the email marketing? How are they giving me more invites to invite people? So tools, I think, are very important. I'd recommend mockups as well, MOQUPS. I think that's the spelling, mockups. Very useful, especially with our new interface, new design. You'd see that there's a lot of mockups and UI. We've had a lot of comments saying that, Jagat, though your video is great, the UI sometimes can be better. We've taken that very positively, and now I think you can see the UI, which is a little better. And it is, I would say, globally competitive today. And now the challenge for us is really moving forward. Important features, new features on Vidphone. I think, as I said, everybody today understands this click on a link and do video calls, right? And that's what we have been talking about for a while. We're happy that everyone's comfortable with that use case. Now it's about what I said, the two important things. What are the flip sides? What are the negatives of video meetings that already have crept up? It's been less than 1 year of full-fledged video, and the amount of negative consequences have I think become more than social. What social took 10 years to do in terms of the people and the kind of personality degradation at some level, it's happened very quickly with video, because I believe now the time for moderation is important. We have only had synchronous video, always having two-way video calls, but I think that's going to give way to a balance between synchronous and asynchronous, like a balance between phone call and email. You can't do all of business only on email. You can't do all of business only on phone calls. And I think the mix of the two is what we're going to see now in video. And that's available now to Vidphone users. The second is, as I said, the beautiful customer automated journey. All you need to do is just schedule a webinar and say good things about your product or engage your community. And from there, all the people who come in, they walk through a beautiful workflow, which you can customize. You can send them a email, an introductory, thank you note after the webinar, then invite them to, another webinar, or you can schedule a video meeting with them, and you can automate this workflow. And then you just, what I call, just push play. And then you just see the customers, they start going in. This is the way we envision this video customer journey. And yes, it might seem utopian now. I just go, I do this thing and automated, I get X percentage conversion. And then I start working on just increasing that conversion. How beautiful can life be, right? So yeah, that's something that's coming up. It's already today in the works, but it's going to get refined over the next few weeks. So
Fantastic.
Guys who are on video meetings, I think you have the whole world ahead of you to explore and enjoy.
Amazing. So, Jagat, see, because for example, there are a lot of accelerators outside of India, right? And it could be in IoT, hardware, or whatever it is. They are also looking to interact with startups. Okay, so how can they use some of the technology tools that you are talking about, the startups and founders, to make a beautiful presentations and interactions, send information out using the video CRM to accelerators, to potential customers. So I think, and India, why can't India be the number one in this kind of technology, right? So that hundreds and thousands of our entrepreneurs use these kind of tools to gain sales. They should get hundreds of customers all the time, and that's something that will be beautiful for the Indian economy also. Okay, Jagat, the other couple of things that I wanted to pick your brains on and to share is, okay, so you have the video CRM and video mail that you're talking about, and remote sales is important. Personal branding, yes. It should be there. I mean, definitely I work for TIE Bangalore, and I want to make sure that I'm there always talking about the efforts that TIE is doing. You are a member of TIE, so I owe you that that you have taken the trust and responsibility of subscribing to the membership. What can we do for you? How many platforms can we put you onto? How many potential customers can you get? How much mentoring can you get? What are the ways and means that you can get to interact with a larger and larger audience of founders? That's something that we must try to enable you. Not easy, it is tough, but sometimes we got to kind of discover this journey. What other tools are there? What are the learnings that you've had in the last, say, 1 month or 2 months? Because you have been attending a lot of conferences. I remember also Bangalore Technology Summit, BTS 2020 also. You had used that, you had gone to the booths, you left a note over there with many people, you have been connecting and talking to a lot of people. So how does this, I mean, little bit of thing about sales, how do you keep in touch with people, Jagat, as a founder?
Yeah, I think in fact, I just recently got in touch with an old, customer of mine. And he had asked for some help, and it was not in our scope to take care of it because it's been a while. But I actually went ahead and said, we're going to do this for you. And he was really happy, because what we had done some work a few years ago for this. Really, it's a very, very large Denmark-based manufacturing company, amongst the largest in their sector. They are among the top 3 in the world. They compete with ABB and Siemens. And recently he said, Jagat, I know it's been a long time, but things are really tough at business for us overall. But can you go ahead and do this for us? I just want this fixed. I said, look, I told you needed all these things in the AMC, and typically this is what happens. People don't take the AMC and they end up with problems. But I said, okay, but you're a good friend of mine. I'll go ahead and do it. And he was very happy with it. And now, coming March, we are going to close a lot more big, kind of deals with them. I think that teaches me, and I've learned this myself, is that I generally go out of my way to support our customers. And this, I think, is going to be very important. There may be hundreds of tools you may be able to use, but what really matters is the kind of support. And I mean support not in terms of using the platform or stuff like this. That should be easy to use. It should be very intuitive. I'm talking of when you are in when our customer is in a bit of a problem. Do we go out of our way to help them? Because and we have this long-term view on clients.
Yeah.
This is going to be very important going further. It's no more about only getting out there and getting those leads and customers. It's about going that extra mile. And I think that's going to be customer experience 2.0.
I like that. So I'm talking about help the customer, give value, okay? And also I'm saying that, like go the extra mile, don't just stop at this, whatever, go the extra mile. I think these are fantastic things. And I know that you have been doing this, Jagat, because a lot of customers, right? You need in between. Suddenly, you need a lot of help. They will need mid seminar or mid webinar or mid call. They want help. They want, and we have challenges with network. We have challenges with so many things. So, what are the ways that I'm just talking about Indian perspective now. Okay, if you were a founder, say not in Bangalore, but say in a Coimbatore or a Bhopal or a Nagpur or something, correct? Where internet connectivity is not bad, it's actually maybe better if one never knows than this. But how would you prepare yourself? From a small town perspective, keeping branding and video in mind, what are the things that you would do? A crisp overview.
But very honestly, because I'm a very, very, what you can call hardcore Bangalorean. I'm born here, brought up here, at National Public School, Christ College. I can't imagine my life without being without being Bangalorean. So first thing, if I was in these other cities, I would look to get a train ticket and come to Bangalore. But that aside, the jokes aside, that I think today is a different era. In fact, I would say 2020 is very different from 2015 or 2018 or 2019, simply because of the explosion of video. Today, it simply doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if, for example, Sumit, and I'm sure there are places there also are wonderful, right? We are just because we're always, emotional towards our own birthplace and hometowns. Right? That's the reason I said it. I was in Allahabad as well. I was in Hyderabad as well. I think every city has its own flavor, and I think increasingly that's going to happen. Today, when you look at the valley, I mean, I was just through some readings and understanding. Look, the companies that come out of Silicon Valley or San Francisco Bay Area in these areas have a different culture compared to companies like, for example, Snapchat, who have come from I think Los Angeles. And there is the East Coast, New York side startups. I think WeWork is probably New York, and there are some other companies from the New York here. So they have their own flavor. Today when you look at a company that's coming from, let's say, some Chicago or some company there, it's very different from a Valley startup. And I think increasingly we'll see that in India as well. There will be certain things that certain cities are really good for. Like, for example, Bangalore may be home to really tech-focused companies, but more distribution plays, which may happen today across the city, across the country, you might find like companies from, other places, right? Like Hyderabad or Chennai. I mean, Chennai, of course, has got that thing for SaaS today. If you want to be in SaaS, they say you got to be around Chennai, things like this. So I think there will be, but for every founder, today it really doesn't matter. It's really about your brand, your offering, more as opposed to even your local ecosystem, because today it's become a global kind of ecosystem, right? It's a one-click ecosystem. Before you had the Taj Vivantas here in Bangalore or the Leela Palace where you'd had the events, but that's reduced. In fact, it's a big advantage for the small town people today to come back at the big town guys, right? Say, hey, you had it for last 10 years, now it's all about us.
Interesting. Very nice. Very, very nice. So what you've done is amazing, Jagat, and look, more power to you, because you are a founder, you're a startup entrepreneur, you want to do very well in life, and you want to, build a team and build solutions. India first, local for vocal. It should not just be buzzwords. I think that's what we always talk about. And the fact that, you've been with NASCOM, now you're a member with TIE, etc. But what can we do for founders is something that we always talk about, isn't it? The ecosystem. We have our the founders feed WhatsApp group to everyone, where we have more than 100 founders together. Number one. Number two, we would like more founders to come in. Number three is resource sharing. There's a lot of beautiful resources, and I think, Jagat, we must thank people like Derek, who are sharing so much of. Derek is, by the way, the co-founder of Flutura. He's been sharing a lot of brilliant resources. And Jagat, you also have been sharing a lot of stuff. Sumit has been sharing a lot of nice information.
You too.
Sonu Gupta has been adding a lot of founders.
A person called Vijetha also shares. He's also a good member of our group.
He's okay guy, Yes, because I mean, touch wood, because I get a lot of interesting reports. I do read a lot, Jagat, about sales, right? Because it's something that it hurts, because I think we are not really there yet. We are good, but we can get much, much, much better in sales as Indians.
No, and Vijetha, one quick point that we were speaking about Vidphone hustle some time back, and I was just working on it yesterday as well, because obviously we've seen a lot of things change in the ecosystem. So we've had to go back, redo the product, come up with more, the future-ready kind of products, feature. But as I said, we've had this discussion. We have almost $0 million salespeople in India. Zero. And I mean $1 million sales in terms of commissions. In the US, there are probably millions. I'm sure there are thousands and tens of thousands. There may be hundreds of thousands of people in the US and Europe who make $1 million in sales in commissions. And one of the things that we want to do again is we bring back Vidphone Hustle. This is going to be a program where people can sit at home and become part of this sales team. And there are phenomenal referral commissions and referral benefits. You can build your own teams. You got access to sales trainings, and you can build out your own home-based business from India. And this is something that I've been working on, and I wanted to take this opportunity when you said about sales, is that today we do understand there are a lot of challenges in the, a lot of young people today in India who I think are extremely smart and passionate. They don't have an avenue to grow their careers. And not only for them, even for people who are getting laid off. And I do know that in the next 1 month, you're going to have many, many VC-funded companies probably who are going to lay off people simply because the time has become like they've waited a long time. And now I think a lot of them are at serious situations. And so this is an opportunity for them as well to not panic and to take up video-based selling and to be able to partner with brands that they want and actually make India a sales first kind of country. The reason the US is where it is because sales, they are the number one sales country in the world by far. While China can be a great manufacturing hub and a distribution hub, US, I think they have mastered the art of selling you stuff that you don't need. And that's why they make so much of money. And I think while India, we will have that balance between selling with trust and selling with certain, kind of principles. But definitely our salesmanship has to increase in India. And Vidphone Hustle, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
I envision a lot of people earning lakhs and lakhs every year through Vidphone Hustle.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Also, Jagat, I want to, we should be talking about the Startup Sunday. So tomorrow we have been doing this, I think now 8 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. So 8 times we have done this, where we bring a couple of founders and it's like an informal boardroom. What we do is we ask them questions to prepare 2 challenges and what they're facing in their business, particular business, talk about it. And the rest of the founders and the audience, we kind of look at what are the potential possible ways that you can solve that challenge or solve that problem. And they can also, like it's a round robin. So they can talk about the other founders, what are the challenges that they're facing. And we would love to have more and more founders coming in, because one of the aspects of TIE Bangalore, and it's my personal vision, and and I want to do this with the community. I want to stress on this community, with the community. And Jagat has been a very, very integral part of it. Is how can we help startups and founders to gain this kind of knowledge? All right. I have access to a lot of podcasts and articles which keeps coming to me, because they send it to me, because I share it to the thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs who need this. But it needs to be a two-way thing, Jagat. And tomorrow, maybe in the evening, maybe 6 or 6:30 is when we do the Startup Sunday. And we would love to have more of you stepping up and saying that we want to come on board and talk about it, etc., etc. All right. So Jagat, it's 12:15.
Yes.
I wanted, is there any other slides or information or infographics or something that you want to showcase? Do you have anything prepared? Or
mainly that one deck that I wanted to show. I do have another, kind of deck.
Okay.
But what we'll do is we'll have the session. That's, I think I want to go a little deep dive into certain areas there.
Okay.
I think now if we started it may overrun the time.
Understood. Jagat, do you have that slide which you had shared with us when you were shown on the TGS 2020 summit? I think there was a short clipping was there, right? Is it possible for you to show it?
Now, let me
Yeah, just dig that out. I wanted to tell you that earlier. Sorry, my bad.
one second.
Okay.
I'll just
Yeah.
yes.
And as you're doing that, I dropped off for that 30 seconds because I was on a call with a couple of other founders who couldn't join us.
Okay.
And but they kind of said hello to you and just to thank you for giving this platform for these various things.
Yeah.
And Jagat, we should be doing more of these Vidshala, these knowledge sessions. But right now, you can share whatever if you're ready.
Yeah. I'll just share my screen.
Yeah, please, if you don't mind. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful.
I think
Enlarge it. Can you enlarge this or something? Is it okay?
yes, yeah, I'm just doing it. I think it's just downloading the video.
Oh, okay.
I think the phone plus this.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Volume, is it possible? Or I can't hear at least. That's why.
I'm just putting it.
Yeah.
Probably it's taking only one video. I think it's not taking the other audio.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll just share this. I mean, I think I'll share it out.
Put it on put it on the groups and everything with a note. But write it at a note, Jagat, not just sharing like that. Yeah, put a nice note. Great. So I think we also have 1 minute. Vaibhav, let me just take Vaibhav online. Vaibhav, yes, here you are. Hi, Vaibhav.
Hello.
Vaibhav, we can hear you.
Yes.
Now we can only see. No, you have to just adjust the camera a little bit, please. We can see you. Yes. Yes. Hi, Vaibhav.
Hi.
Namaste, sir. Kaise?
All well. I was just wondering on the insights that had been shared, where in China and US play a significant part as to how the world economy has been shaped up. So I thought that maybe if you can just share certain more insights and ideas on that, would be great.
Awesome. Of course, Vaibhav. Any specific questions that you have, Vaibhav? By the way, this is Captain Vaibhav Pandey, ex-army man. We used to be colleagues at Beehive Workspace, and he's had a very interesting journey with many startups. Okay, and very strong in operations, a family man, and also with a base in Lucknow. So he has some kind of entrepreneurial roots as well. So great, Jagat. So Vaibhav, is there any specific?
Just try to.
Yeah.
So I think the specific thing was that regarding sales that you were discussing.
Correct.
It was more to understand as to how the China and the US comment that Jagat had mentioned. Just thought that I can get some more insights as to you said that that's how US knows how to sell really well. And then China knows how to produce really well. So I think I was just trying to understand why would US be at such a stage and why not India probably try to inch towards. So while you talk about the sales part from the Indian perspective, what is your say? Should we be looking towards China or should we be playing towards the US part so that it makes a really significant change in terms of how we look at selling ourselves?
First of all, thanks for coming. Good afternoon to you, Captain.
Good afternoon, Jagat.
Yeah, I think good question too. I think we should not look to China or look to US. We have to look inward. This is always, I think, India. What happened with the US is they perfected at some level the art of marketing, sales, advertising. I think really they put the structure around how this works. Even when you put in an organization, where does the marketing qualified lead end? Where does the sales qualified lead end support? I think they did a great job at that, right? And they have English as their medium to be able to articulate and really run people through. China, on the other hand, as you know, it's more of, I would say, an organized body shop where people have to work really very hard, long hours with no freedom to choose. India, I think we're at a very important stage where, we've always been a services economy. I believe that India, we've always had services as a big, point. And services means we are here to solve, not only sell. And I think if you look at the Valley ecosystem, the problems with antitrust generally with software companies today, look, Facebook's getting, completely demolished. The American government has said no sale is final. Today, Facebook, they're going to break away WhatsApp, Instagram. And if you look at why they did it, it's because Facebook had said they're not going to integrate these companies and make them one. Today, when you open a WhatsApp or Instagram, it's all Facebook. So I think with US, it's about sell at all costs, win at all
Right.
costs. Right? And I think that's wrong. You should be able to sell and win, but you have to keep service and customer support. And it could come at a cost of profits. Like you may not have the kind of profits that Facebook or Google's making. You may do 50%
Right.
profits, but you will have long-term sustainable businesses. I think that maybe that's. I mean, of course, a lot of crystal ball gazing and talk, but I do envision India take that kind of a role where we are taking up a kind of philosophical leadership at the same time,
Yeah.
but sustainable profits.
Right. So I think so. You say that we should be in a position to position ourselves better for being an Indian economy or an Indian driven system rather than aping any of these things. Maybe take the right steps from any of the businesses that are doing well and make an internal ecosystem or probably enhance our internal ecosystem in a better way so that we are able to sustain ourselves in a better scenario, right?
Absolutely. See, I think even if you look at overall the legal systems today, look, you have the top
Yeah.
companies in the US, and these are 1, 2, 3 probably in with respect to market cap and size. Uh, Now, the
Right.
whole US government, the whole system, irrespective of whether you're Republic or Democrat, the one thing they agree on is that these
Yeah.
big companies should be broken up. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you
Yeah.
that something very seriously wrong. And in India, luckily, we live in almost an equal footing. Today, you do have large companies pulled up in India also, where Competition Commission is questioning some practices here. And I know my father is working very closely with respect to Companies Act and company law, where there's not too
Yeah.
much difference. The US government may pull them up this year. Next year, India may pull them up. So it doesn't take
Yeah.
probably 10 years for that to catch up. So very interesting times. I see India is going to be, and we have the youngest, population here, 500, 600 million people, all who are good at English, who are as good as their American counterparts, right?
Very true. Yeah, very true. I think that's a very apt point. You talk about the Indian, probably the working population, the abreastness that we have towards talking in English or maybe a common lingo, if you have to say, where we can represent the world population in terms of business. I think, yes, we have a great point to make here, but then, yes, how much we are able to capitalize. I think there is some level of intervention. What do you think should be there from the government side also? However, the startups are doing their bit of generating or graduating to a certain extent. But I believe the government support also. What's your input on that, probably Vijetha and both of you, as to how much you think that?
Sure.
Yeah.
See, but it's like this, no, Weber. It's not that the government is not doing. See, for last 4 or 5 years, we have seen the NASCOM. How NASCOM is doing. The government, I must say this, right? Government of Karnataka, the startup cell, and also
Right.
KTech, KBITS, KTech. They're wonderful people, very genuine, working so hard. The Elevate program, but how much they can do? Maybe 100, or they can do maybe 150, or maybe they can do 200. But
Right.
that's what 1% of the requirement. So we should not only rely on the government. They're going out of their way. Okay, trust me on this. Because I've been, because of NASCOM and Head Start and of TIE Bangalore, where many of our leaders are part of the Vision group as well. They're trying to do a lot of things, and it's not just about Bangalore. Okay, I want to stress on this. They're looking at Unnati program, for example, which looks at SC/ST kind of founders, right? There are a lot of programs for women entrepreneurs, Vaibhav and Jagat. Then there are a lot of programs, and believe me on this, right? There's something called GAIN, which stands for, the new NAIN, sorry, the NAIN. N stands for New Age Incubators. So, Karnataka has got hundreds of colleges who are, like incubators, correct? So how can those small towns, it's not Bangalore, I'm talking about beyond Bangalore. Okay. I'm
Very
talking
true.
about,
Very true.
So
Yeah.
I'm about Bangalore, and I mean, believe me, when I can give you a master class, 2 hours, 3 hours, I can talk and list on every scheme that is there. But now this is important. You have to be able to qualify for those schemes. Okay, and
Yeah.
this is something. Okay, Jagat is obviously well taken care of. He's got a CA, he's got a lawyer. But no, in a sense, you're investing money, man. You're spending money on the regulatory stuff, right? But many founders are not paying attention to that, Vaibhav. Okay,
But then, Vijetha, my question also would be that how much are these schemes known to the wider aspect of people who are trying to do
Understood.
something accordingly?
Agreed with you.
I
So
think the government policies in terms of communication, I think that becomes important then in that case.
the people are doing a lot. In fact, in multiple languages, and not just about Karnataka, other state governments also, they splash it out. The newspapers talk about it. And listen, there's something called Google. Okay, if you just type out like grants and schemes from government or whatever, everything just pours out, man. You go to Startup India or you go to Invest India, whatever, state by state. I repeat, state by state, scheme by scheme, women separately, biotechnology separately, everything is listed. Okay, but the
I think,
patience to
yeah,
read it.
that makes a lot of
I
sense.
repeat, the patience to read it, to understand it, and to comply. Now that is where we are messing up. Okay, that is
Yeah.
where we are messing up. We are not complying here, and that's where unfortunately, we lose out. Number one, number two, yes, from part of the overall work that I have to do at Time Bangalore is to disseminate all these schemes. I mean, for example, we had this Bangalore Tech Summit that happened last month. Okay,
Uh,
so the session videos, the brochures, all this is being shared out to more and more people. It is kept open, free, till 24th of December. Okay,
mhm.
top end, high quality videos, sessions, infographics, PDFs, everything is being made available. Remember, everything. But people are not downloading it. People are not, going into it, and that's where we're losing out.
I know. Now I get it because I think my question was very one-sided, where I think that this is how it is, but then this is not actually what is happening, as you're rightly
It's
explaining.
out there.
So I
There
think we
are.
have to reach out to the right resource to understand how things
Oh
are
yes.
happening and probably just not make statements in air.
No,
That's
no,
the
no,
way
no,
I
no,
made
no,
it.
no.
I'm sorry.
Vaibhav, please, Vaibhav, you have been so supportive, right? I know how much work that you do for the startups. You have connected so many founders and startups to me, and I've tried to do my best.
Thank you, sir.
It's very difficult because things like funding, things like customer connects are not easy today.
Correct.
But the ecosystem is very helpful, very supportive, and I would really encourage the founders, right? There's so much of information out there. Join the founders feed. Jagat, open invitation, right? Vaibhav, I'll add you to that. We have more than 100 founders right now, plus all the Thai. Like Jagat is a member of Thai. There are about 25 to 30 WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups. We have a LinkedIn group, Vaibhav, which has got 14,000
Acha.
people. 14,000.
Oh.
Okay, our LinkedIn group of Thai Bangalore. There is a Thai global group which has got 30,000. Right? All
I
entrepreneurs, and
understand.
we keep sharing, but people should read. I mean, and that goes for me also, right? The patience to read and compliance. Vaibhav, see, you are an admin guy, you are an operations guy, correct? You sell also, correct? You're a business development person. When you sell,
Yeah.
are you not supposed to do compliance? Don't they ask you for 101 documents?
They do. They do for sure.
Yeah, and you have to prepare it and give it to them, right?
Correct.
So that's how
Yeah,
it
it's internal, external, both. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how it is. I
it
think
is.
very
It is.
rightly
It
put
is.
across.
But
Because
but
it is not only one-sided where they are asking for it. I think it's on the other side also that we need to prepare ourselves,
yeah,
be abreast, understand, know what's the regulations getting regularly changed, and then make ourselves used to it over and over again. Yeah, I
yeah,
think that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yes. Unless that happens, it's difficult. But Vaibhav, what you're talking about, and I can see, hi, ma'am, hello, yeah, how's your son?
Yeah.
Oh, hello, namaste. Oh, your niece is also there. Oh my God. Hi, hey.
Yeah.
The whole family is
I could
here.
have joined the video call earlier, but
Yeah,
then you could understand why I joined it
yeah,
late.
I know. No, it's okay. They're also budding young rock stars, man. So it's good. It's a family time for you
Yeah.
folks.
They just they also want to be abreast with technology at all
Yeah,
times.
good. So, Vaibhav, tell me this. You used to work, you're not used to, you still work with a lot with founders, right? And you help them with business development. You're also now working on a business development for a larger company. As a sales guy, and you're doing a lot of things remotely, okay? Isn't video a very important tool? You and Jagat would not be able to have this conversation and free discussion unless we had a video technology and a platform and a willing founder like Jagat who's giving the Vidphone platform for us to use.
No, so once Vijay, I think I lost you in between the last one. Can you
Yeah,
just
I
repeat once
listen.
again,
No,
please? Sorry.
I'm saying as someone who does business development, okay, and
Right.
a lot of the stuff that you're doing is remote. You have to convince a lot of large clients
Yeah.
to take up the services of the organization that you're working for, and you have to
Right.
use video a lot, right? And
True.
you
Yes.
have to use techniques of sales, etc., on video. So how do you prepare yourself,
Yes.
Vaibhav? If you have to give some insights to some founders or sales leaders, how do you prepare yourself?
So I think very rightly put across, Vijetha. I believe 6 months back, there was nothing like this that we were even thinking of, because I think the physical meeting with people, just checking up with them if they're available, if we could meet across, I think it was more face to face. It was like 95% face to face. The other 5% also was on certain PPTs and emailers that we used to share across with people. Now, as you rightly said, since last around 6 to 8 months, the difficulty of all of us meeting together, reaching out to each one of us, had been a difficult part of it. I think the infographics and the videos that you rightly said has become part of our sales pitch so much so often. So I would say it has now taken the other side of it, where around 60 to 65, 70%. And all my marketing feeds also, that we talk to my marketing head, how it is supposed to be done, what is the lead generation platform that we need to use. I think a lot of thing ideation is going towards video, the real time heroes that we say, the workmanship on ground, the trainings that we do, how do we project. So I think it was very easy for us at some point of time to go across and tell them that we do A, B, C, D, and these are the photographs. This is me sitting in front of you, telling you that this is what we do, and people believing us. But now, as you rightly said, I think there are multiple videos and multiple real-time heroes that we have created amongst ourselves. So my firm, just for everyone's information, my firm is into blue-collar services, which we provide housekeeping, security to start with, or maybe all the technical support staff that is there. So we take a lot of videos real time, where people who are the real heroes working across at certain sites, how they are performing, how they look like, what's the reality of our uniforms, how do we make sure that the trainings are happening. I think you have very rightly said, today the sales has gone to a digital stage, where the entire look and feel, or maybe the touch and feel that we used to say earlier, is more towards video, where people are looking at you from that angle and trying to understand how good you are, and then generating questions, ideas from there itself, rather than directly being meeting face to face. So yeah, I think video has taken a greater shape for us also. Yes.
Yeah, very, very nice, very nice. And and see, more power to people like Jagat, who are not just building community and everything, Weber, but also trying to, make money. A noble cause, noble cause. It's a noble cause today to make money, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. Yes. Very true. And given that the scenario that we are in, somebody who makes money, I probably has to be a god.
Hey, but listen, Vaibhav, you're with your nephew, niece. I mean, I'm sorry, your son, your niece, your brother, and everyone. Please give my love to them first. I mean, a wonderful
For
family
sure.
that you
Thank you
have.
so much.
Yeah, yeah, and and we're going to catch up today evening as well, right? So,
Very soon. Very soon.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it'll be after what, six
Thank you
months?
so much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Vijetha.
thank you.
Thank you, Jagat. I think that was my time for the question. Maybe I'll be connected with anything that comes up. Yeah.
Done deal. We'll add it to the WhatsApp group also called Founders Feed, Jaga, and Weber.
Thank you so much.
And feel free to add any founders out there from any industry. Okay, it doesn't have to be technology. They don't need to be from India as well. We have people from all over the world and all over the country. So it'll be
Right.
we want, and it's a lot of resource sharing, Weber. It's all resource sharing. Okay, just trying to see what we
Would
can,
do for
as
sure.
you said, no, and I'm listen. I'm keeping in mind very clearly that you have made a point here that a lot of the government schemes that are available maybe can be reshared once again. I have the information. I have all the information. I will reshare it. I'll put the okay, Jagat.
Yeah.
I will put the links out today afternoon. Once I'll just put it all together. At least some 5, 10 links I'll put out. But thanks for that, Vaibhav. I think you're right. We should share about other things. Okay,
Yeah. True.
done,
Yeah.
boss.
Thank you so much.
Done.
Thanks all.
Drop into your future sessions also. Look forward. Have a wonderful weekend.
For sure. For sure.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vaibhav. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye bye. Hey, Jagat. One of the nicest guys in the ecosystem. Very supportive, Vaibhav. Yeah,
The first time I'm meeting him, and really
yeah.
wonderful vibe. So
Yeah. Yes, he's doing a lot. He does a lot even now. That's what it is all about.
if he's been in the army, captain, etc., I think they add a lot of flavor into the ecosystem. The discipline. I think that's one of the key things we can learn from the army, and that's really big, right? I think being creative and disciplined is a big challenge. It's one of the biggest challenges I find. Creative people cannot be disciplined. It's really difficult to be disciplined if you're creative, and that's wonderful to find that balance as a startup. Yeah.
Yes. So Jagat, I think it's 12:35, 1.5 hours, man. It's crazy. We've just been getting so much of insights and so much of knowledge out for ourselves also. I've learned a lot.
Me
Thank
too.
you once again, Chetak and Vaibhav and Vipul. All you guys have come together. You have shared a lot. Sumit, doing amazing work out there, really growing. He's got all the hacks in place, man. I love that man. He's so simple, but such a wonderful person. And Jagat, for preparing, I know that I gave a very short notice to you and told you, boss, let's crack this. And
I think it's
thank you.
very important, Vijetha, and I think this is also want to say hats off to you and the Thai team for both the events. TGS, I know that was Hyderabad, and IoT Matrix, where I think you were very much involved in the whole success. I think more power to you guys, and much better and amazing events in the future. Also, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Okay, and I'm going to do what Vaibhav has told us to do. All the government schemes and other schemes, I've got the information. We share it on email. I put it on our timelines. I'll put it on some other more WhatsApp groups and other things as well. Okay, I will do that. Why not? It's worth doing it. Okay, these are wonderful people from the government.
I
And
really good. We spoke about a very new topic, very contemporary, relevant topic. How do we do virtual events, both on the
Yeah.
guys, the event organizers side and the
Yes.
founders?
Yes.
We probably do another one. I think more with probably more experiences as it gets refined.
Yeah.
For both, I think there'll be a lot of value add. People attending virtual events and people conducting virtual events also.
Yes, yes. See, because Jagat, like you, there were a few other people like Subbu from Discover Dollar and few others also had set up the booth. We had also given it to other platforms. Okay, see, I mean, as you know that I believe that, and this is something that is encouraged by the leadership team as well. Try to be more inclusive. So we actually had a NASCOM Center of Excellence. We had
I
CISO
know
platform. We had Jetro. We had Western Digital. We had Lowe's Innovation Lab. We had AB and Bev. All those guys were there, right? I mean, and whatever, man. After that, it's up to the founders to take advantage. Okay, I just want to kind of be very clear on that. That
I
the
think
founder,
to add to your point about what the government's doing and NGOs, not for profits like Thai and NASCOM. See, I think end of the day, entrepreneurship is a very individualistic mission. And I think it's difficult to kind of say, hey, SCST founders, we're going to have so many women founders. It doesn't work. I think those are good because it helps people kind of get the taste of it. But really, walking that journey is a very individual kind of journey, right?
yeah,
And maybe the core team. So I think it's really about ambition and the
yeah.
internal drivers, right? Internal motivations. That's very important. Externally, there's only so much any ecosystem can do. And I think all of you are doing a terrific job. There's no taking away at all.
No, it's all for the founders, Jagat. You guys have to now take this and go to the 1,000 level. Okay, but always a pleasure and delight. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our wonderful audience. Of course, this will be on YouTube and Facebook, but of course, equally important, it will also be on Vidphone platform, which Jagat and Steve, Akhil, and everyone will be putting in. And more power to every single one of you. Thank you, Chetak, for the wonderful comments and good wishes as well. I will call you soon. Take care, guys. Thank you. Jagat, my friend, look after yourself.
You too. Have a great weekend.
Bye bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
And hustle away. Make lots of money. Bye bye.